Hello, hello, hello. This is Sir David the Bard, and I appreciate your patronage, or what do they call it? Patron. You're a patron of the Bard Show. Anyway, I had a conversation. I don't know if I want to call it a privilege conversation. It was kind of interesting. I had a man who is LDS, wears his garments, goes to church. He was over here visiting with, let me turn my fan on. I can't breathe because there's no there's no insulation dust that I'm breathing. I'm trying to get cancer, so I got to keep that on. Anyway, he and I were having a conversation. Well, he's in court, improper, been there, done that. You've got a fool for a client. He thinks he's going to win, and he's bickering over an 8-year divorce. He's been divorced 8 years, and he's still pissed. Now that's Jesus. That's a guy who has not come into reality yet. And he says, "You don't have to tell me about the Mormon Church." And I go, "Oh, okay. I know about them. Didn't do anything to help me." Well, surprise. You're living with your mom and you're unemployed. You don't pay tithing. They don't give a rat's ass about you. You're right. I said, "Okay, tell me the rest of your story." He says, "Well, I live with my mother," and he's 52. Damn. Think what you want, but a 52-year-old man living with his mother, I think there's mental illness, there's laziness, or stupidity, or all of the above. Anyway, he says, "Well, I'm going to get rich." And I go, "Here comes the Ponzi. Here comes the Mormon Ponzi." And I said, "Oh, okay, tell me your plan." He says, "Well, I own 170 acres in the middle of nowhere out by the Nevada desert." And I said, "Well, you could lease it to Hill Air Force Base and let them drop bombs there for practice." He's, no, I'm going to make big money." I said, "Okay, how are you going to make big money? There's no electricity. There's no roads. There's no sewer. What are you going to do?" He says, "Well, they have an ordinance that you can't divide that up into 1-acre lots. And I'm going to divide it into 1-acre lots." The poor suckers that buy this shit because he's wearing his garments and he looks like a high councilman, the Mormons are going to be sucked in, and here's the Ponzi scheme. And well, how can you sell 1-acre lots when the zoning won't allow it? "I'm going to create an association." Okay, how does that change the law? He said, "Well, I can divide it into 1 acres and sell it to people as recreational property." And I said, "Dancing with a cactus plant? Being chased by rattlesnakes and scorpions, you call that recreation?" He says, "Well, that doesn't happen all the time." I said, "Well, the few times it does is going to hurt your reputation." He said, "Well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to make an association. Then I'm going to, in the association, break it out in 1-acre lots." And I said, "Well, there's no roads. There's no improvements. Electricity is 100 miles away." And he says, "They won't know that." I go, Jesus, do I smell the Mormon Ponzi? I do. So I'm calm. "Oh, well, okay, maybe they can get generators." He said, "And they're not allowed to build a house on it at all. The ordinance says they can't build a house." I said, "Well, what about a cabin?" He says, "No, nothing that attaches to the ground." I said, "Well, are you talking about a huge trailer park in the middle of nowhere?" He says, "Well, it's not trailers, they're manufactured homes." Well, I put a home together in California that was a manufactured home, and it did come to the site on wheels. Anyway, I said, "Well, what are these people going to use their acre for?" And he says, "Well, snowmobiling." I go, "There hasn't been snow in that part of Nevada ever." He said, "Well, it could snow someday." I go, "Jeez." Here comes more Ponzi. He says, well, they could ride their motorcycles and their ATVs. Well, okay. But don't they have to cross other people's property to get to their acre? Well, yeah, but the other people won't care. You can't sell landlocked property. It has to have access to the outside world. They won't know that. This is the piece of property I'm going to buy. So anyway, he says, well, they can put up anything on wheels. I said, okay. I said, are you going to tell them when they buy their acre that they can't build a house on that? Hell no, they can figure that out. If they go down to the county, they'll find that they're not going to be able to build a house. I said, you know what, my friend? You're being dishonest. And as a Mormon, he goes, I am? I go, yes, you bastard. You can't sell property without full disclosure. There's no wells. There's no city water. You know, there's no access for 100 miles into your 170 acres. The Ponzi idea of making an association and selling it, the city has a reason they don't want that divided into 1 acre lots. It's probably because there's no services, there's no police, there's no ambulance, there's no hospital, there's no fire department. He says, well, I don't think that matters. God dang, Jesus. And he'll go to priesthood meeting and sell 200 of those before he even owns it. He'll sell it to the Mormons on promise. I promise before God, angels, and these witnesses, this is a good piece of land. You don't need to go look at it. Well, God, the Mormons, this is the way they think. It is inbred. You know, when you have sex with your own family members, that's not a high recommendation for intelligence. So, anyway, I said to him, I don't think you're being honest. Well, I think I am. I'm going to be rich. And I said, well, you know, if you're the head of that association, they're going to kick your ass when they find out that you've lied to them. And he says, oh, I'm leaving town. I go, there's the Joseph Smith horse. Oh, listen. Oh, God, here she comes. Where's the dish to put the sandwich on?
Sorry.
Oh, don't be sorry. Go get the dish. Thank you.
You have a paper towel.
All right, I'll put it on a paper towel. God, she is so smart. I put a paper towel rack up. I think, hey, now I put my sandwich on the paper towel rack. Anyway, he says, I'm leaving town. They won't find me. God. Here goes another Mormon. The Joseph Smith horse is saddled and bridled. As soon as he gets his last check clearing the bank, his ass is grass. It's out of town. You're not going to find a lawnmower for this guy. There it is, folks. There's how the Mormons think, and they don't give a shit who they're ripping off. They'll rip off their mothers, their fathers, their brothers, their sisters, people they're not related to. But anyway, if you see signs out of Reno towards Winnemucca that says land for sale, 82 miles, and there's no road, don't. It should say Mormon scam, Mormon pyramid, Mormon Ponzi, 80 miles in. And some of the Mormons will buy that for $1 an acre, and they'll go, hey, this is a cheap deal. God, you gotta love the Mormons. Thanks.